Today I want to talk to you around how to better connect through a digital filter. And a digital filter is something like Zoom, Google Meet, MS Teams, pick your poison. Something that's digital that is here to stay, because the new normal is going to become very normal. And I want to tell you a story, or start off with a story, and this is true. This happened last year, March 1st. I was scheduled to speak at a Salesforce event in Stockholm, in Sweden. And so I flew there from Cape Town, landed in Stockholm, and as I was getting my luggage, I got a call from a +45 number, and it was a Danish number. And on the other end, this Danish person says, "Hi, Alistair, where are you?" I said, well, I'm in Stockholm, as agreed. And he said, yeah, the event is now virtual. We're not doing a physical RKO, because I was supposed to speak at a physical event in Stockholm. So now, all of a sudden, this was now virtual. And this person said to me, yeah, we're going to do it over Google Meet. So I was like, Google Meet? So no longer face-to-face. I have to now talk over Google Meet to hundreds of people. I thought, well, there goes my ABBA museum tour. So I went over to the flight desk and I spoke to a nice Swedish lady and I said, hi, funny story. I've just arrived in Stockholm, but I need to leave. Can I get a ticket to Copenhagen, please? She said, why? Something wrong? I said, no, it's just the virus. It's just, can I have a ticket, please? So she gave me a ticket, and as I was leaving, she said, oh, I wouldn't be worried about the virus. It's just a common cold. And we all know how that played out. But as I was flying to Copenhagen, I thought, well, this is going to be easy. I mean, you just put your slides up in Google Meet or Zoom or whatever, and Bob's your uncle. Hey, easy peasy. But it wasn't so easy. It was a lot more nuanced than I even thought. And I'd been doing training, virtual training, for a while. And I think this has happened to a lot of us in this new way of doing business. And as Sue alluded to earlier, it's a lot more difficult to build that connection and engagement with your audience through this Zoom, Google Meet, whatever you want to call it. And so today I'm going to talk around 6 simple practical things that you can implement right here, right now, to better connect through a digital filter. And I'm going to talk around the virtual communication trilogy. And what I mean by that is, if you walk into a Ferrari showroom, you don't get greeted by instant coffee in a plastic mug with no milk or sugar. You'd go, hang on a minute, this isn't a Ferrari showroom. And that's the same for us when we show up on a digital call. Our production, our lights, our camera, our sound, everything needs to be top-notch, because when somebody looks at us, they need to go, wow, this person has made the effort to show up on this digital call. And if you combine excellent production with good use of the platform, so if you're using Zoom or Google Meet, what can you do to enhance that connection and engagement in the platform? For instance, why don't you run a poll? Use the chat. Those types of things to get the audience involved. The second part of the virtual communication trilogy is body and facial language. So how are we communicating with our bodies, with our eyes, with our hands? Because people can see that, especially when you start on your digital call before you share your PowerPoint. So make sure that those things are up to standard. And then the last pillar, or the third part of the trilogy, your vocal tone. If you get onto a virtual call and even a face-to-face meeting and you sound like this, hi everyone, hi, we're going to be talking about a really cool subject today. People are not going to engage with you. So you need to show up virtually with your voice, your body language, and with the production. Also, customers typecast us. You might have heard about the story of Ferdinand the Bull. Now, Ferdinand the Bull, as you can see here, was this big, fearsome bull in Spain. But all he wanted to do was smell the flowers. And that's what happens where your look doesn't match how you are. And if you come on to the call with a stern face and stern eyes, people will not engage you. And people still look at us, and looks are important. Looks are very important, and people typecast us based on a look. This guy, Danny Trejo, is a Mexican actor. He always plays the same part because of the way he looks. So when you meet somebody face to face or on a digital call, make sure that you have open, relaxed eyes, relaxed features so that people can engage with you. But here are 6 practical tips to better connect through a digital filter. And these are things that I've come across through people I've coached around the world, and they're real life examples. So this is not something I've made up, and they definitely do work. The first thing that I want to talk around is get up, stand up. And I was coaching this person from Holland recently, and he said to me, you know, Alistair, that I'm almost 2 meters tall. I said, no. Yeah, I'm 6'5". Normally when I walk into the room, I use my height and my physicality to dominate the room. So I said, well, I didn't know that, because he was sitting down. And this brings me to my first point. If you want to show up digitally, you need to stand up. Why? Because if you stand up, your lungs will breathe less, 4.5% less per minute. You'll also have more air that you can take in, 17.2% more air, and 11.5% oxygen. What that means is you'll be less stressed. You'll be more energetic in your vocal delivery. You'll also be more energetic in your physical delivery. You'll have an assertive posture, and you can use your hands. All of this adds to the mix. We're talking fine margins here, small victories, nuances. But this all adds to you showing up and really giving of yourself in this digital world. I was coaching 2 Australian biotech investors recently over Zoom. We'll call them Peter and Mark, the Chief Investment Officer and the Managing Director. And they had to go out on the road and get $100 million invested in their biotech fund. So they were going to potential investors and saying, please invest in this fund. And they were doing this mainly over Zoom. And I was talking to Peter, and he was delivering his spiel, his thing he was saying. And I said to him, Peter, I'm not feeling you. I mean, you're saying we should invest, but I'm not really feeling you or your message. It's just not resonating with me. It's just not landing. And so I need more. I need more energy. I need more warmth. I need more smiles so that you can connect with your audience. And he said to me, you know, Alistair, I like what you're saying about the energy and the smile, but you know, I feel that if I give too much, I might come across as inauthentic, you know. I might sound like that bloke, what's his name, Tony Robbins. And I don't want to sound like that. And I said to him, no. If you up your energy and your smile, you're not being inauthentic. You're just being more real, and I can see and connect with you and your audience. Because in Australia, they have this saying called the tall poppy syndrome, where you don't want to stand out. And you're not showing off. You're just showing up. And that's what I mean by this next point, which is up your energy and your smile. Because if you do smile, you're going to make more profit, according to one Dutch study. 10.7% more profit. People who see another person smile, 72% of people that see another person smile think that that person is successful. It's just something that they think. This is from a Swedish study. And another Swedish study said that if we smile, the audience will mimic us. So if you come on a face-to-face call or a digital call or face-to-face meeting and you smile, your audience will be connected with you. They'll see you as successful, empathetic, open, and they will just connect with you better. So up the energy and smile. And here, step outside your comfort zone, because the webcam or any camera diminishes us, makes us smaller, less than. And so you need to get out of that. You need to give more so that more of you comes through the webcam so that your audience can connect with you and your message and not look at their phones or do online shopping or be distracted, because you are showing up in that meeting. Step outside your comfort zone, because that's where the magic happens. Tip number 3, activate your audience with a story. Now, storytelling in business is very in vogue at the moment. It's very popular. And if you do it right, your audience will be engaged with you from the get-go. I told you the story of what happened to me going to Sweden, but you could have done something like an activity as well. You could have done a poll. You could have done a word cloud. And we're going to do something like that later on. But if you engage your audience from the get-go, get them doing something, talking, sharing, whatever it is, or you share something engaging, they will be engaged the whole way through with what you're saying. When I was younger, I used to watch The Bold and the Beautiful. It was my, well, guilty pleasure. I don't do it anymore, of course. But we've all seen soap operas. I'm pretty sure that most of us have looked at a soap opera before. Igorli. I don't know what the other ones are because I don't have TV. So soap operas are definitely a thing. This one is a picture of, I think it's a Swedish soap opera. I'm not really sure. But when you watched a soap opera, there was always this weird kind of acting. You know, they used to say it, hammy acting. You know, you've all seen a scene where the actor says to one character, "Darlene, I'm leaving you." "But why? What's wrong, Bob?" "I'm in love with your brother." There was always those weird gaps or pauses between the interactions, which created tension, created a bit of drama. And that's what we need sometimes when we're presenting or talking. Creating those gaps, creating the pauses to create tension. We need to enjoy the silences, because the more silences and pauses that you build into your presentation or speech or pitch, you're going to build some anticipation. People are going to be going, "So what is she going to say next? What is this thing?" It creates tension, and sometimes tension is definitely what you need. And this is another tool that you can use to pull the audience into your content. I was working with a South African technology company recently. They're based in Johannesburg. And they said to me, "You know, Alistair, we're struggling with this new digital way of selling, because oftentimes what happens is our reps or our salespeople start with the brag sell. You know, when you start your presentation, you say, you know, we're very successful. We've got 50,000 clients and across 200 companies and 50 countries, and our turnover is 4 billion, and we're really, really good and very, very special. And, you know, you need to work with us." The brag sell. But the problem with you lead with the brag sell is that it kills empathy. It kills that connection. And what we need in this digital format of selling and communicating is more empathy, as Sue alluded to earlier. More understanding of the client's problems, of their needs, and where they're at. And if we start with how good or how cool we are, that kind of defeats the object. Say, by all means, introduce yourself and say something about yourself, but don't go on about it. So the 5th tip is up the empathy for better connection. And here are some simple things that you can do to build better connection with your audience. Listen. Don't interrupt. So if they're talking or asking questions, really actively listen. Again, getting back to that point of smiling, warmth. If you get the smile in and the warmth, you are perceived as being more empathetic, more approachable. People will like you more and successful. And the 3rd thing that you can do is look at the nonverbal cues. Now, the nonverbal cues are tone of voice, body language. So if you're presenting with a colleague, you could say, well, you look at the webcams, you look at the images of people in the meeting, and let's see where they're at. Let's see what they're doing when we're presenting. So these are things that can be done. And I've had a podcast last year, and empathy, or the concept of empathy, really came to the fore. And it's something that can be learnt. We can get better at it if we're more aware of where we are. and aware of our customers and their needs. And the last tip, what I call the feelies. Now, there's a quote here that I'm not going to read, and this is from Maya Angelou. And as professionals, as businesses, as people, we are in the business of the feelies or feelings. And when we talk or present through a digital filter like Zoom or Google Meet, it's very difficult, very, very difficult to build that connection and engagement. And we need all the help we can, all the help we can get. And we need to make sure that when we go on these calls or these meetings, that we are also imparting feelings. People must leave that meeting or that call going, wow, that was cool. I really feel good about this company or about this person. You must leave them in a better state than when they arrived at that meeting. So what can you do? So I want to refer or lean on some acting concepts, which is called objectives or scene objectives. So when an actor prepares for a role, that actor would have an objective for the whole movie. It could be to seduce, to dominate, to love, or whatever. That might be the overall objective. But inside each scene, they could also have objectives. So what you can do with your presentations is say, okay, what do I want? What is the feeling I want to leave the audience with? And you can write that down. Or you could say, for the introductory part, I want to be as friendly and as energetic and entertaining as possible. And write that down when you're preparing for your talk or your presentation. Keep that center of mind, or put a sticker on top of your webcam saying, I'm going to be X. And that'll drive your performance. Keep that top of mind, because if you can impart that feeling and your audience feels it, and they feel a positive connection with you, they're going to be more likely to want to engage with you and do business with you. Here are some examples of what I've done with this presentation. Whatever resonates with you, you can write down. So that brings me to the end of the 6, but I want to do something a little different here. I'm a voice artist. I still do voiceovers. Not so much anymore, but I still do voiceovers. And I'm going to do the recap in some accents. We're going to build a live word cloud. Jamaican is leading the pack, followed by Dutch. We've also got French coming from the left. Dutch, Jamaican, and French. How's that? Ariet. And by the way, this is just for a little bit of fun. So I'm a voice artist and I do this for a living. So I'm not trying here to offend anyone. Just going to put that disclaimer out there. So here's the recap. Hear me now. The first point we talked about is get up, stand up for a more dynamic performance. Just like Bob Marley said, get up, stand up. You'll have more energy, more vocal range, and more physicality. Up your energy and smile for an improved connection with your audience. Very important. I think we said Dutch as well. So the third point is that we said that you need to ask for involvement. Don't let your audience be passive. So when you start your presentation, ask them to do something, a poll or something active so that they feel part of the presentation. The fourth point is you can build tension with silences. So use silence, pausing, whatever the case is, to create a bit of anticipation and drama during your presentation, and that will also pull the audience in to what it is you're saying, okay? And then I think we said French. The fifth point is you must use empathy to better connect. Don't brag sell. So when you start your presentation, don't tell the audience how cool you are, how good your company is. Maybe say a little bit about you, but make it about them. Think about their problems and what they are experiencing right now. And then the last point is what feeling do you want to impart to your audience? I call it the feelings, the feelies, and you need to think about what it is, what feeling you want to leave your audience when they leave your presentation. These are the 6 points that we spoke about today. So a little bit about what Jabba offers. We offer one-on-one digital presence and voice coaching. So how you can improve your digital presence with your body language, with your voice, with your production, all of those things, one-on-one. And then we do this one-to-many. So 1 to 20, 30, 40 people in a 90-minute or 2-hour class, which is highly interactive. People sit and do and practice. It's not something where they sit down and eat popcorn and look at a screen. They really get involved, and it's a fun thing. We make it fun. And students are measured against 15 different variables according to Jabba's ESP15 coaching methodology. And on the left there, you can see a snippet of the report that each person or student gets. And they are scored numerically and also qualitatively on each of these 15 coaching points. So we'll score them on their production, their lighting, clothing, vocal tonality, physicality, audience contact, warmth, all of those things that help build digital presence. Here are some of my clients or Jabba's clients. SAP is one of Jabba's biggest clients, and to date, we've trained 3,126 of their, well, it's actually more than that. This was a couple of months ago, of their professionals all around the world. These are other 2 references from people inside SAP and another one from Google. So over the last 2 years, we've tried to help people with their presence, their voice, body language, engagement, how to make a virtual engagement more engaging, if I can use that word again. So what are we offering? We're offering people from this webinar promotion 50% of all Jabba's products. You can use that coupon code if you buy on our website, and this offer is valid for 30 days. So from, I think, till the 28th of, well, 30 days from now, if you use that code. If you want to reach out and connect with me, you can scan that QR code and it'll take you to my and Jabba's LinkedIn page. Here is my email address. You can contact me directly. If you want to book some time with me in my calendar, you can, let me go back there. You can book some time directly with me through Calendly. That brings me to the end of my presentation. Thanks very much. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you found it valuable.